It's now the worst fire event in Los Angeles history. 5 people dead, but that number could rise. Thousands of homes burned to the ground. You can see rows of Pacific Palisades homes right here, completely gone. 46 square miles now on fire. Iconic landmarks erased. Devastation beyond any scale we've seen before. Pacific Palisades and Altadena burning out of control. Firefighters struggling to stop the burn as those fires scorch through heavily populated areas throughout Southern California. A destructive fire also breaking out in Hollywood Hills overnight. Officials there say that blaze is now contained. The biggest fire still 0% contained, with the Palisades fire spreading through more than 17,000 acres, becoming the most destructive blaze in history. These satellite pictures of neighborhoods before they burn to the ground still do not fully encapsulate the suffering that's happening at this moment. Residents forced to leave their homes, valuables, and practically their whole lives left behind, not worrying about whether they have anything to return to.
I just come from my family home where my mother lives. That was burned to a crisp, so that was the initial shock value. And then I came up to my home, and same thing, it's completely dust. I was down to my knees when I got up to my parents' house with just sheer amazement at what I was looking at, which was basically just a chimney stack and a pile of ash.
It's heartbreaking. Someone's really treasured possessions. And there's just nothing that we can do. It does feel helpless when you're watching it burn.
Our Jaclyn Lee is there on the ground in Pacific Palisades. Let's talk about the winds this hour, Jaclyn. We talked about it all day yesterday. That's what was causing these blazes to continue to spread. Do you think firefighters are getting any better chance here of battling those flames today?
Kira, the winds are much calmer today than they were yesterday, because when we spoke, I was getting blown around as we talked about those hurricane force winds. But, you know, today it's much calmer. It is picking up a little bit. You can see all the ash flying around. But again, it is a lot better. Take a look at where we are standing here in Pacific Palisades. This is a community filled with dozens and dozens of homes that are no longer standing. And I mean, just the depth of the destruction that we're finally seeing, you know, now that some of the smoke has gone away and it's safer to get closer, is just so heartbreaking for so many people. I mean, we're seeing, you know, burnt out refrigerators, old HVAC units that are just gone, burnt out cars. I mean, right here is what used to be an office. You can tell from the filing cabinets and what's left of what was a desk. You know, but we spoke with a resident earlier who came by. He was concerned that there might be looting here, and he lost his home. He was saying he came back because he wanted to try to salvage any memorabilia from his home. You know, some of it belonged to his mother. And I think that just kind of drives home the fact that when you look at all of this stuff, this was, you know, precious belongings to people that's just gone in an instant. And so, you know, unfortunately, you know, that man just burst into tears. He never expected this to happen in this community. And I have to tell you, Kira, I mean, on the other side, I mean, from the hillside, there were homes up here that overlook the Pacific Ocean. We are right in front of the Pacific Ocean, about 100 yards, just to kind of give you an idea. And what we did discover when we came here is the American flag is still standing, which is, you know, very poetic. And obviously, the preservation of life has been a priority for officials and for the people who live here. But I mean, just when you see this devastation in person, I mean, words really cannot sum it up, Kira.
Yeah, and, you know, the fires, you know, they're continuing to create some of the most dangerous conditions even at this hour. Can you tell us more just about what's happening throughout the area there in Pacific Palisades?
Right, so unfortunately the Palisades fire, it's still burning out of control, right? And so it's helpful that we have the winds that have calmed down a bit, but they are going to be picking up back again. So firefighters have this pocket of opportunity to try to get as much under control as they can. You know, we were up by an elementary school that was currently burning, you know, and we were speaking with firefighters who said that their goal was to try to prevent it from burning the rest of the elementary school. You know, they were taking their pickaxes, they had the hoses and everything, and they've been working around the clock ever since this fire broke out, and they are just so exhausted. And when I asked the assistant chief, you know, what keeps them going, he explained this is what they love to do, is to help people and try to preserve as much as they can. So that's what's keeping them going as they continue to fight this. Kira.
Jaclyn Lee will be talking all throughout the afternoon. Appreciate your reporting.